officially. All right. So we are officially live, and today we're doing something a little. All right, guys. So we are officially live, and today we're doing something just a tad bit different here. I have about three cameras pointing in my face, feeling a little bit like a celebrity. Uh, we're going to be going live on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok all at the same time. All right. So this is something a little bit different here. Now, the title of this video is Should We Trade Tomorrow? All right. And the reason why I titled that is because you guys always hear me talk about technical analysis, which is what we do here with these charts. When we're trading, we go into the charts, we pick stocks, we find stocks, we identify entry, exit points. Uh, so that's our technical analysis. And you always hear me stress that if you want to be a successful trader, you have to also pay attention to your fundamental analysis. And for those of you who watch my lives or have taken my course that I have available on Udemy, you always hear me talk about fundamental analysis. And I can't stress that enough. Now, I typically don't trade on a Friday. I am what they call a short term trader. I am not a swing trader or a day trader. I typically hold on to a trade for maybe 3 to 4 days, a week at most. I don't like to go into the weekend with any open positions. Now, I do have a few stocks that I do hold on to long term, something like my cannabis stocks and some cryptos and different things like that. But for the most part, I'm a short term trader. Now, Fridays, I typically try to be out of my trades, but I'm fortunate to where today I was able to get out of all of the trades that I was in for the week. But tomorrow we have something very big that's happening. We have the Trump Putin meeting that's going to be happening in Alaska, 11 o'clock a.m. their time. If you're on the East Coast, I'm here in Miami, so that's about 3:30 p.m. Granted, the meeting is going to happen after, near when the market's about to close. So there's a few things that I'm expecting to have that could possibly happen. One is tomorrow the market may be extremely slow. It may not be as volatile because a lot of people don't want to get their money tied into the markets or do a lot of trading. One, that it's Friday when everybody's cashing out. Number two, we saw what happened last time when uh, President Trump sat down with Zelensky in regards to the Ukraine war. It was a big it was a big well, we're here on, nobody here should be less than 18. It was a big shit show, basically. So with that happening, I would tell you like this: tomorrow would be I would be very cautious in regards to going into any new trades, because you could be looking at a stock and the technical analysis look good. The moving averages tell you that the stock is going up. RSI tells you that the stock is going to be going up. And then at 3:30, when the meeting starts, it's a bad meeting. Now everybody's on edge and they don't know if it's going to be World War III. They don't know if there's going to be more sanctions. We don't know what the response is going to be from Ukraine, what the response is going to be from our European allies. We don't know if China is going to have something to say in regards to that. We don't know if Putin may retaliate if he doesn't get what he wants, or if Trump may retaliate. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So tomorrow I'm just going to be watching the market, but I'm out of all of my positions and I'm just not going to do anything until Monday. And it's a good thing that the meeting happened on a Friday, because what that basically means is it gives investors and it gives other traders time to digest whatever happens on the meeting, at the meeting on Friday. It gives us the weekend to digest that. So this way, you can plan out what you're going to do on Monday, depending on the results of what happens. And this is why I always say, if you want to be a successful trader, you have to pay attention to the news. You have to know what's going on in the news. If you don't pay attention to what's happening in the news and you're just trading like it's any other random day, and then you jump into a trade and everything tells you that this stock price is going to go up, and it just hovers there, or it drops, or it tanks, it's because you're not paying attention to what's going on around you. So there's always two parts to the trading, right? So I don't want to get too much into that because it's a little bit, in dealing with politics and everything else like that. But before I continue blabbering on in regards to that, why I'm not going to trade this Friday and why I wouldn't recommend anyone trade, I'm going to show you one of the trades that I talked about yesterday in my live. So remember, this was a trade that I told you. I bought this trade last week, Friday, and I bought this trade. I bought into the stock as basically saying the stock price was going to go down. And I bought into it roughly around like $32, right about here. And this is the candlestick that I actually bought, this big red candlestick. And this was a strong one. It actually broke through. And we're looking at everything on a daily time chart. So every single one of these candlesticks represents one day. So with this candlestick was a strong red candlestick. It broke through this area of support right here, which is this blue line. And when it broke through it, and I bought it right here at 32. It even closed below that area of support. But what happened here? We had a fundamental analysis. Something fundamental happened with the company and with the news that pushed the stock price back up. Right. So I was stuck in this trade right here for about 9 days, and then finally this morning, the stock price. Well, yesterday the stock price closed about here, about 34.21. We talked about it yesterday. And then this morning, the stock price opened all the way down here at $32.29, and it dropped all the way down to $29.78. I was fortunate enough. I was able to sell and get out of this trade. I had an options put saying basically I'm trying to make money while the stock goes down. And I got out of the trade right about here at $30. So with that options contract, with that particular option contract, I had roughly 200 and no, I'm sorry. With this particular contract, I had $325. I paid $325 per contract, right? And just with that one drop right there, from here, the stock price actually came. I actually made per contract, it was roughly about $175 profit per contract. All right. Like I said, I normally never give out the number of contracts I make because I'm not an influencer. I'm not trying to flex on anyone, but I'm just letting you know, like basically we put about $350 at risk per contract, and each contract gained us about 175, 100, about $175, I believe it was. But I ended up having to hold on to this trade for an extra 9 days, where I was expecting to make that profit right away. And I'm telling you this because things like this is going to happen where you're going to you're going to get into a trade, and you're going to sit there and everything's going to line up, and it's going to tell you, well, look, in the next 2-3 days you'll be able to get out of the trade, and then something like this happens, but you're comfortable staying in the trade and don't feel like you're losing money, even though at the highest point over here I was down almost $370. I was almost down like, no, I'm sorry, about 280. I was down about 280 at the highest point where it came down, came up all the way up here, but eventually the price fell back down. Now, I don't talk about I just recently got back into options, and I haven't talked about options in my trading course that I have that's available on Udemy. I'm actually in the process right now of creating a course simply for options, because a lot of people believe that they can get into stock trading and they can make so much money so quickly, and that is not the case. So what happens with stock trading? Let me give you guys an example. You walk in, you start off an account with $500, right? You make an investment and you buy some stocks for $500. You probably could make, depending on the ATR and how fast the stock moves. And I think we did an exercise about that. Let me see if I can pull up my Excel spreadsheet here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, while that loads, you invest the $500, you buy a stock. The ATR could be, 250 or more, or something like that. So you might be able to make $50 to $75 a day on trading, right? That's if you're starting off with a small account. So when you see these influencers online and they're saying, well, I started off with, I took a $300 account and I turned it into $10,000. That's with them leveraging their account, and that's not really traditional stock trading. Most cases, what that is them doing options, or taking really, really big risks with forex and other things like that. So that's not realistic. And I'm going to tell anybody who asks me, yeah, you can become a millionaire. Yeah, you can make a lot of money off the stock market. You can also lose a lot of money as well. But to sit there and think that you're just going to put in $300 and on one trade, you're going to make a $1,000, $2,000 profit, that's extremely, extremely rare, and I've been doing this for over 20 something years. I've been doing it for, no, I'm sorry, close to 20 something years. Let me pull this up here. So let me show you this. We did this earlier as an example, right? So right here, we have a Tesla stock. Tesla stock is $340.84. Now, if you have a $500 account, you can buy one share of Tesla stock, and that's going to cost you $340.84. Right? I haven't updated these numbers because this is like from earlier this week when I did this. At the time, Tesla stock was doing an average, an ATR. Now, for those of you who don't know what ATR is, the average true range, that basically means for the last 14 days, Tesla stock has been going up or down at least $13.12. So that basically means the stock price can go up or down at least $13.12. If you only have one share of Tesla stock, you're only going to make about $13.12 for the day. Okay, if the stock goes up. If the stock goes down, you're going to lose about $13.12. Unless you're buying a huge number of Tesla stocks, you're not going to make that much money. So this is why when I see a lot of people, and I've said this earlier, for those of you who watch my live, if I see you buying a Tesla stock, an Apple stock on Robinhood, you're not going to make that much money. All right. Now, when you take a stock like this one, this stock symbol SMCX, and you actually get this stock over here, you can buy it for $38.95. This stock, you can get 12 of them if you have a $500 account balance, and that's going to cost you about $467.40. Now, this stock has an ATR of $6.58, meaning this stock can go up or down about $6.58 a day. So because you have 12 stocks, you're going to multiply that by that $6.58, meaning you can make $78.96, or you can lose $78.96. So you're not going to make an investment in one day. You're going to make that much money. Now, keep in mind, a stock like I show you on the charts over here, a stock price, it never just goes straight up. It never just comes straight down. You'll notice a mixture of the stock going up and down, and each one of these candlesticks represents the day, right? So you may make, so let's say for example you bought this particular stock, you made the $78.96 for that day. If you do not sell it the same day that you make that profit, the next morning you may be wiped out because the stock may go ahead and do something like this. It goes up that day and the next day it goes down. So that's why I always say, whenever you make a profit, take your money and wait for the pullback. All right. And this is what I teach you in my course over here. So in my course, I kind of teach you, look for look for when the stock drops, and then identify clearly when there's going to be a pullback or a correction and the stock is going to go back into an uptrend. Uh, and the only reason I'm saying this is because I had somebody who recently signed up to my course that I have available on Udemy, and they were saying to me, well, I want to put in, I was explaining this exact same thing to them. And they said, well, what if I put in, $10,000, could I make more money on a daily basis? And I'm like, well, why do so you want to make the money so you can quit your job. So the money that you make on the stock market is what you're going to use to pay your bills. I said, dude, you're going to lose all of your money because you're going to have so much anxiety. You don't have a second form of income coming in. And so therefore, every time you trade, you feeling like you have to win or have to make money, because you have to pay your car notes, you have to pay your rent with that money. And all of that pressure and all that anxiety will cause you to make mistakes. So you don't want to do something like that. I've always said, if you want to start trading, you want to trade with disposable income, money that you don't necessarily need, or money that you can afford to lose. All right. So let me show you guys something here, what I was talking about. Let's pull up an Apple stock, right? Because I think Apple's a very popular stock with a lot of people who trade on Robinhood and new traders. So let's pull up the Apple stock. We're looking at it on our daily time chart. And with this Apple stock, I'm not sure if many of you guys can see it. Right down over here, we have ATR. Right underneath this purple line, we have ATR. This little section right here, which is this little skinny red line. And that lets me know what my ATR is for the day. So remember, the ATR is basically the average amount of dollars that the stock goes up or down on average for the last 14 days. So right now, Apple's stock price is roughly $232.78. So let's go over here to our chart. We're going to type in the Apple chart. We're going to type in Apple. Let's do Apple over here at the bottom. APPL. Apple stock price is going to be there we go. The Apple stock price is going to be $232.78, right? So you have a $500 account balance. So that means you'll be able to buy 2 shares of Apple stock with a $500 account balance, and that adds up to $465.56. Apple right now, if you guys can see this down over here, Apple right now has an ATR of $5.20, meaning on average, Apple stock goes up or down about $5.20 on average for the past 14 days. So because you have 2 shares of Apple stock, if Apple was to move up to $5.20, you can make $10.04 for the day, or you can lose $10.04 for the day. All right. So let's update our Tesla stock over here. Let's put in new numbers for Tesla stock. All right, let's put new numbers in for that, for Tesla stock. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's see here. We have okay, so for the Tesla stock, we have Tesla stock. Where's the Tesla stock? Okay, let's just go with stocks only so we can get that stock. Tesla stock is right here. So with the Tesla stock, current price is going to be, and you're going to notice, remember, we did this earlier on in the week. I think we did this one on Tuesday. So let me show you how much it changes on a regular. Right now, the Tesla stock price is $335.58, right? $500 account, you're still only able to buy 1 share of stock. And the Tesla stock, as of right now, the ATR is now $12.76, right? $12.76. And so it went down. The ATR went down. So it's $12 now and 76 cents. Okay, so it's taking an average of the last 14 days. So I can only make, with a $500 account, I have a possibility of making or losing $12.76 with Tesla. With Apple, I have a chance to make or lose $10.40 a day, because I'm buying these big name fancy companies, because I think, if I buy these big fancy names, the stock is I'm going to make so much more money, right? So now let's look at this stock over here. This is a very cheap stock. This stock price right here, EVH, is currently at the price of $8.82. This stock has a daily ATR of 62 cents. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look at that. Let's see what happens. So that stock symbol is going to be EVH, and the stock price is going to be $8.82. Me personally, I don't like to trade stocks that are less than $10, but we're just going to do that for practice purposes, right? Now, if I have a $500 account, I buy this cheap stock, which is $8.82. I'm able to buy 56 shares of stock, right? 56 shares of stock. This particular company has an ATR of 62 cents, meaning this stock can go up or down about 62 cents on average a day. And that's what it's been doing on average for the past 14 days. Let's see how much money I can make. Look at that. I bought a cheap, unknown, no-name stock for $8.82. With my $500 account balance, I'm able to get 56 of them. The stock only moves up or down about 62 cents, but yet I'm still making $34.72, a lot more than I would make with Tesla or Apple. But also at the same time, I want you to remember, make or lose. I can also lose that $34.72 if it goes down, because I'm buying a cheaper stock. I'm able to get more shares, so therefore I can make or lose more money, right? So this is why I tell you, don't punch above your weight class. And if you have a small account, try to buy cheaper stocks. You're going to be able to get more bang for your buck, and you're able to get a better return on your investment. Let's see if I can find one more last one here. And then okay, so let's take a look here. We can find a cheaper one here. Okay, so let's look at this one over here. It's $28, the Galaxy. GLXY. Let's pull that up. GLXY. Let's put that over here into our formula. Since Apple is the lowest one, let's replace that one with the Galaxy, which is going to be GLXY. Current price for this stock is going to be $28.57. All right. And so therefore we're able to buy 17 shares of this stock, and we have a $500 account balance. So we spent a total of $485.69. What is the ATR on this stock? Oh, wow. This stock has an ATR of $2.45. So on average, this stock goes up or down about $2.45 or 48, 45, 245. All right. Sorry, guys. I have, I'm not that young anymore. Two, I'm sorry, 245. Yeah. So that stock goes up or down an average of 245. So look at this. We bought a $28 stock with our $500 account balance. It has an ATR movement going up or down about $2.45, and we're able to make $41.65 a day. We can possibly make it or lose it, depending on the depending on what direction the market goes. All right. So this is a great example of why I tell people you need to learn about the stock market, because if you don't know about the stock market and somebody just refers a stock to you, or you buy a stock that you just simply see online, what's going to happen is you're going to buy the stock and it's just going to stand still and be stagnant, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to go up or down like maybe a few cents. And you're sitting there like, why am I not making any money? It's because you don't know how to pick stocks. So I would recommend that you guys sign up for, and remember now, I'm not an influencer. I don't make money online. I don't make money through TikTok, YouTube, or anything else like that. But I always recommend, if you want to start trading, you can sign up for any one of these courses. Just go into Udemy, which is is one of the world's largest online learning platforms, right? You can go in there and just type in stock trading beginners, or simply stock trading for beginners. And all of these different instructors, they have classes here that are available on Udemy. All right. And you can sign up for classes like this right here, which is for like $22.99. Originally, it's $139.99. This gentleman has a really good course. The thing about it is you just don't get access to them like when you get my course. My course is here, Stock Trading Simple Beginner Guide. It's the highest rated course. The price is $99.99. But you do get direct access to me. You get my WhatsApp number. You get to email me. You get to call me, ask me questions about stocks, ask for one-on-one tutoring. If you like, after you go onto Udemy and you take the course, you can say, hey, I didn't understand something. Can you schedule a Zoom call with me where you can explain it to me more in detail? And I'll pop up on Zoom call or go to meeting, and I'll share my screen with you, and we'll do a one-on-one course up to about 30 minutes. And it's no extra charge, because once you sign up for my course, you get access to me, direct access to me for 3 months. Everybody else here, they have really, really good courses, but these guys, they don't give you that type of direct access and on hands-on training. But if this course is a little too expensive for you, just because you see some of these courses are a lot cheaper, doesn't mean the course is not good. What a lot of these guys do is they'll create the course and then they'll mark the price down so they can get more and more students. And some of these guys are enrolled into a program where Udemy would see that, like, I'm not signed into Udemy right now, but Udemy would see that you're not signed up, or you keep coming back and visiting their website, and then they'll give you a discount just to entice you to buy the course. And remember, when you sign up for a course on Udemy, you basically have lifetime access to it. So you can always go back and do refresher courses and different things like that. So whether it's my course or somebody else's course, I would truly recommend that you sign up on Udemy and take somebody else's course, so you can learn the basics about how to set up your chart, how to set up your chart, set up your indicators, how to read charts, read indicators, and then you'll be able, because this right here is a spreadsheet that I created myself, and this is something I did for myself and I did for some of my students. So if you start off with a $500 balance or a $1,000 balance, trading, I'm sorry to say it, like, I get a little excited when I talk about trading, but trading is extremely simple, man. It's not difficult or crazy. It just takes discipline. It just takes discipline and having the proper mindset. As long as you're not greedy and hungry for money, like where you're just kind of like making impulsive trades because you need the money to make a purchase for the next day, and you have the patience, dude, you can make so much money. And over time, it really does add up. Like if you make $100 a day, think about that. If you make $100 a day and you trade 5 days out of the week, that's $500 for the week. That's basically $2,000 for the month. Every single one of us can use an extra $2,000. And if you take that $2,000 and add it on top of what you already invested, you can actually the following month you can double that up and from $2,000 to $4,000. So if you just take your time and you think about it in that perspective, you can make a lot of money. But if you listen to these influencers who are telling you that one trade or in one day or in 1 week they were able to take 300 and turn it into 10,000, and that's your expectation in trading, you're going to be extremely disappointed. All right. But that's just about it. I'm just going to let you guys know. I'm just going to reiterate, tomorrow is a big day. Pay attention to fundamental analysis. If you're trading, you got to watch the news. You got to be on top of what's going on. Otherwise, you're gonna see that tomorrow a lot of people are going to be online complaining that they lost a lot of money, or the markets were the markets did not really move much, because there's a big, huge event that's happening tomorrow, and that could be an event that affects all markets across the board, not just the U.S. market, the European market, Asian market, because everybody's watching that meeting to see what happens. And we know that Europe is going to give a response. The UK is going to, Europe is going to give a response once the meeting's over. And we'll see what happens. I typically don't do lives on Friday, but depending on how it goes tomorrow, I might jump on and do a quick live. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you Monday, same time, same place. Have an awesome day, guys.